You're funny.
It's like I said. It's like I said. Do you like my tail?
Like I said. Welcome back to Iron Rage, the show where Lee Priest and I vent our frustrations with the world. And Lee, we were supposed to have an iron debate today with Luke Sando. Oh, are you gargling?
That's none of my business.
We were supposed to have an iron debate with Luke Sando and Fouad Abiad. They confirmed last week, like you said, and they didn't show up. What happened?
Hello? Oh, you talking to me? Oh, hi. Hey, hold on. I got something to show you, Dave. I got something to show you. Oh, you like my tail? You like my tail?
Do you have a stuffed wallaby over there?
No, I don't have one. You just sit there, Basil. Yes, they somehow got the time wrong, even though I'm on daylight savings time now, and it's really an hour ahead of me behind or whatever it is with daylight savings time. I don't know, but yeah, really it's 4 a.m. for me, but I'm up, but that's none of my business.
The thing I never understood about daylight savings is why can't they coordinate it throughout the world so that when everyone moves their clocks back, it's at the same time so that nothing changes. Now in Florida, they want to do away with daylight savings.
Good. We don't need it. What do we really need it for? Because before we just jumped an hour ahead, I was getting up at 5 a.m. and it was light outside. Now I get up at 5 and of course it's like dark again now because it's really 4. I like it that way. And people go, oh, you get an extra hour after work to go out in the sun. People that are working hard during the week, who's going out at 9 o'clock at night during the week playing in the fucking sun? And then you get these other idiots who think because you put the clock an hour ahead, they're calling in the radio shows going, I don't like daylight savings because my curtains fade with that extra hour of sunlight. It's like they think it somehow changed it.
Well, yeah, but think about it. Imagine if Florida didn't do daylight savings, but the rest of the United States did it. It would be ridiculous. So we'd be on the same time frame as New York, and then when they did the daylight savings, we'd be an hour off of them. It's utter ridiculousness.
Well, how's this? We have New South Wales. That's a state I live in. Across the border, Queensland. Queensland doesn't have it.
Oh,
there's a lot of people that live in Tweed Heads. That's like a coastal town right on the border,
right.
And they work in Queensland. So if you get up at 7 o'clock here in New South Wales, you cross the border to go to work. You're an hour early because it's 6 o'clock, and then when you get off work at 5 o'clock in Queensland. You drive home. It's now 6 o'clock. You just lost an hour. So these people travel across the border every day to go to work, and they're losing an hour, gaining an hour.
God. That's crazy. How far is Brisbane from where you are?
If you drive, about 9.5 hours. If you fly, an hour.
I have a client of mine who needs help with posing, and he's like, you know anyone? I said, Lee Priest, but I don't think he's that close. He goes, I'll drive down to him.
Brisbane, not Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Say Brisbane.
It's like when I went to school in Pennsylvania, I went to school in the Amish country, Lancaster.
Oh.
But everyone calls it Lancaster. It's Lancaster.
I lived in Lancaster, California, up near Palmdale.
There you go. But I heard that's a beautiful place, actually.
Oh, it's right near the prison. It's nice.
Yeah. When you moved to California, obviously Ed Connors was one of the people that got you out there. By the way, I was watching, just not to segue, I was listening to an interview. I don't know, you should listen to it. John Hansen interviewed Jeff King. You remember Jeff King?
Oh, yeah, he had massive big legs on him, Jeff King, back in the day.
And Ed was one of the people who brought Jeff King out to California. I didn't even know that. He mentioned that in nowhere. He's like, yeah, that guy Ed, he ran Gold's Gym. Ed Connors brought me out there. I'm like, I can only imagine why, Ed had all the greatest talent out there.
Jeff King, he started off pretty big in NABBA, didn't he, back in the day and that?
Yeah, well, they were supposed to get him into he was supposed to compete against Lee Haney. And Wayne D'Amelio, I think, was going to get him into the Night of Champions, and they told me he was a pro already in the NABBA universe, or the NABBA. I don't know if it was called NABBA. I don't know what made me think of it. When you mentioned Jeff King, who was a really good short bodybuilder back in the day that a lot of people forget about was that Victor Terra. Victor Terra was awesome. Yeah, he lived pretty close to where I was living at the time. He was a freak. He was
Yeah.
another Bob Grushkin guy, Victor Terra.
So what was today's topic about?
Oh, about showing up on time?
Tail in my face. Yes, well, I don't know why they can't show up on time. They're getting their notes ready, Dave, to try and attack us for tomorrow.
That's right. So we were supposed to have an iron debate.
I'm here, you're here. I'm still waiting for the guy with the blonde hair and the tattoo on his face to turn up.
That's right. They called you out, okay, but they didn't really call you out by name. And then at the end of the of their radio show or podcast they were doing, they forgot that they weren't calling you out by name, and then they called you out by name. So,
well, the funny thing, I was almost in the same sentence because Fouad goes, yeah, that guy is always negative, or the one with the blonde hair and the tattoo on his face. And then Luke goes, yeah, that Lee Priest is a good bodybuilder. Now, look, I'm glad these two don't work in the CIA or a fucking covert type mission, because imagine these two being held hostage. Give us a name. Tattoo, blonde hair. Fucking Lee Priest. Fucking Lee Priest. Don't torture us. It's like, I wonder who they were talking about. And the thing was, the stuff we said is pretty much what 80%. You go around the boards, and we've said it again, we're not knocking the guys. You've said it too. You only have to be as good as your competition. So if that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do. So I remember I used to say that back in the day sometimes when, Flex or them would win a show and they weren't ripped. And I'd be like, well, why kill yourself to get ripped if being 80% can win you a show? So, it's not being negative on the guys. It's just an observation. 80% of people say it. But, Steve Weinberger said the same thing in that when you interviewed him about the conditioning of guys today. But I don't see Fouad and them coming on saying, yeah, what about that negative guy? I don't want to say his name. He has a bald head. He runs a gym in New York. I'm not saying his name. He's the head of the judging in the IFBB, but we're not going to say his name now. But, that's none of your business, is it, Basil?
Well, what? I made a good point. I did a video about defending basically, what was said. And really, I believe that the guys were so well conditioned and so big in the 90s, not necessarily because they had better genetics, Lee, but because they were being pushed by a guy by the name of Dorian Yates and then by Ronnie Coleman. So guys became better than they were, got bigger than they were, and got harder than they ever probably would have, because look who they were competing against. How do you beat Dorian Yates, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be bigger and harder than this guy.
Well, I've even said that when you look at, when everyone does that old comparison, they'll put up an Arnold picture and a Ronnie Coleman picture and go, Ronnie was the best Mr. Olympia ever. But I said, really, do you think that? I said, put Arnold into the 90s era. With Arnold's work ethic, his mindset and shit like that, imagine how Arnold would have looked in today's bodybuilding if he had to push himself that little bit harder to do what he had to do to win the Olympia then. It's like, it's anything like that. You always, if there's some competition out there in all sports, whether it be tennis or whatever sport you're in, if someone's that better, you're going to train that bit harder and to try and beat that person. That's why, people always say when you're on the top, like Arnold say, everyone wants to get to the top, and when you're up there, it's hard to stay there because everyone's climbing up. When you're at the top, you can get a bit lazy because those ones beneath you want to try to get to where you are, so they're going to push that a little bit harder. And sometimes a lot of guys at the top just rest on their laurels and think, well, I'm this, I'm that. That's when the thing is, because when you're especially the competition, I always tried to go in, because I didn't think of the competition, I always tried to go in the best I could, and that sometimes meant, okay, if you lose a bit of muscle, come in shredded. It's like when I went to NABBA. I could have went in there saying, look, I've competed against the best in the world. I was a top IFBB pro, but me going into a new competition, I don't know who's going to be in it. Even when I was in the IFBB, you could be like, someone would give you a name, look, Lee, who's in the Ironman this year? You go, oh, yeah, that's such and such. Oh, last year he was smooth. Last year he wasn't in good shape. But I never relied on that, because so many times you'll see a guy that last year wasn't in shape, come this contest, you're like, oh, fucking hell, I didn't expect that. So you always got to assume that everyone's going to come in at their best condition ever, because that's how some guys get beat. They think, well, he's not that good. And then, the last 2 years he's been a bit off. Come that 1 year, you're like, fucking hell, he hit his peak just on and he wins the show. So, I think you should always try and beat your best. But, some people do get lazy and they go, well, he was off last year, so I don't need to do this and do that. But, I want you to know now, too, Basil is actually going to start doing diets for people. He's going to get them ready.
What's he going to charge for contest diets?
Yeah. So when you see that, oh, Dave, when you see their abs and that, but when they turn around and show the glutes, woo, Whoa, like my tail, like my tail.
Woo!
Woo! So there I am.
You know, I wound up getting sick after we did our show, maybe a couple days later. So I'm blaming you. The electromagnetic waves came through the camera and got me sick from your sickness that we had on the show last week.
Ah, that's what it was. Is that, what do they call it? Retrograde or something, don't they?
It's sickness by radio frequency contamination.
But here's another thing I noticed too. I saw your thing like with Dorian gave his view, and this is the thing too with this day and age. You know, there's so much social media, there's so much things like this. We answer questions or we give our opinions. That's all it is our opinion. And it's like people get so upset. You're in a sport where you're standing on stage. I'm sorry if I'm keeping you up there, Dave.
Yeah,
you're yawning again. So, you know, must be late there. You know, your medication hasn't kicked in yet. So it's like you're in a sport where you're on stage in your underwear pretty much saying, judge me. And then when someone gives you a critique, they get fucking upset. You're like a grown man full of muscles. You're taking roids. You're meant to be sort of tough looking and hardcore. And as soon as someone goes, oh, you're a bit smooth in that. Oh, fuck you. You hear what he said about me? He's a fucking cunt. He was never in shape. That Lee Priest never had ripped glutes. Fuck him. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck me dead. If you can't handle criticism, you shouldn't be in fucking bodybuilding. It's like, it's so fucking crazy. I've never known so many grown men to carry on like fucking women. It's like, shit. I don't get it.
Did you ever, when you were competing, were you ever like really pissed off at a criticism you received from like a coach or a magazine or anything like that?
Well, I never had a coach, and then the magazine. No, that didn't bother me.
No, I mean like from someone else. I'm saying you heard someone else make a critique of you, and you were like, "Fuck this guy."
Never. I'd always just laugh because, you know, from the early ages I've heard, "Law, you're short, you're this, you're that, you're blah blah blah." So every time I'd read it in the magazine, I'd be like, "Yeah," I'd laugh at it. It's like it never gets to me. That's why people sometimes think, "Oh, well, Lee's getting upset." I just sit here with a dry sense of humour. People can't really tell if I'm being funny or if I'm upset. It's like I've never got upset about any comments because, you know, sometimes it'd be like, I think once a judge come up to me and he's talked about my conditioning at a show, and this was I forget his name now, but you'd know him if you saw him. He's probably dead now, but he used to be about the size of a bus, big and fat. Now, when a guy comes up to me who's like the size of the fucking Hamburglar from McDonald's, and he's telling me how to fucking, you know, I mean, Grimace was the big fat one, wasn't he? Yeah. When he tries to tell me how to get in shape, I just go, and smile and sort of walk off. It's like, what the fuck? You know, it's like me trying to tell an Olympic swimmer how to fucking swim a fucking freestyle in fucking 10 seconds. I wouldn't have a fucking clue. So, you know.
Right.
So yeah. I never took it to heart, but these days people take it such to heart. It's like, look at the comments online when I did with Kamali, when I was talking about the men's physique where they do their hands like this, and I said, look, they do it more feminine than the girls. The girls just go once, but there's guys up there going. It's like fuck me dead. I thought it was Queen Elizabeth driving by, waving out the fucking car window. It's like, is anything more gay than that? You know, nothing against gay people. So don't come down on me because fucking I said the word gay. But like doing this, and then they put their leg out to the side and they sort of flick back like this. And the thing that really got me was I mentioned that when my daughter, who competes now, she goes to contests and has photos taken with these guys. Yeah. You know, guys should just stand there. But these guys actually, you know, a girl would do the turn side on and stick the bum out. These guys sort of put their hand on their hip and stick their fucking leg out. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like, stand like a fucking grown man, you fucking idiot. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, they go into this fucking poofy fucking pose that, it's like, my God, yeah, that's fucking natural, isn't it? It's like, just be a bodybuilder and do this.
That was always my pose. You gotta flex the arm at the same time. Does your daughter take a lot of like shit because, you know, Lee Priest is her dad, or is she treated better because you're her dad?
I think she's okay. You know, when I put up a picture, she's competing in 2 weeks' time. But, you know, you put up a picture and there's people like, Lee, can I date your daughter, Lee? It's like, well, fucking ask her. I said, I'll look at your pictures. I can guarantee she's probably going to say no, but why ask me? Go and ask her.
Like you know, even if you said yes, like it really, or no, your daughter's not listening to you, that's for sure, you know.
exactly. I just asked them if they've got lots of money, and if they've got a few million, okay, they can buy her. But I don't. Yeah, but she's looking good. So it's in not this weekend, but the next weekend in Sydney.
Does she have your genetics?
Well, obviously you don't look at the pictures I post, do you, Dave? I'm sorry if my Instagram page doesn't amuse
I'm
you.
asking you if you think that she's got your genetics. I think she looks good, but I don't know if she's got your genetics. You know better.
I think so. She's got nice structure in that, so I guess she's got some genetics there. And then you get the comments that has Lee got his daughter on steroids and blah blah blah.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a family trait. It's not me. It's like my mother. You ever see that TV show? What was it? Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I love it.
It's like my mother's the big Don, and she just sort of, from a young age, has been dishing out steroids to all the young bodybuilders. She's like
she used
the
to put them in
matriarch
with your milk and cookies when you guys were kids, right?
Yeah, she's the matriarch of the family and just dishes out all the steroids.
If your daughter asked you if she to take steroids, what would you tell her? Would you encourage it? Would you tell her to do what you want?
I wouldn't encourage it, but I wouldn't say no. That'd be like me being a hypocrite and stuff like that, saying you can never do this, you can never do that. So, she smoked cigarettes, and I gave her my opinion on that when she was smoking and stuff and doing that sort of thing. But it's like, hey, if you're going to do it, you just recommend, okay, if you're going to do it, do the least ones with least side effects and only use small amounts. But, she's not into the bodybuilding side, so really, if anything, they'd be into the fat-burning type drugs and leaning out drugs.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't say no because, even if I said no, she'd probably talk to some of the girlfriends doing it and they'd be doing it anyway. So,
Has she ever asked you about it? Because that's got to be a tough, I don't know what I would say to my kid because, obviously I'm the steroid guy, But my son says, I want to take steroids. I would be like, what am I supposed to say? No, you can't do it. I'm telling everyone else how to use them.
That's not hard. That wouldn't be hard. That'd be easy. I said, it's like, listen, at 13 when she was telling me she was having sex and that'd be a lot harder than the steroid question. Right. So they were the days when she told me that. So, but I don't get mad. When I was 13, I was having sex. So, well, what are you going to do? You can't get upset by it.
Did you give her any advice, at least like don't get pregnant, type of thing?
Yeah, I said use protection and stuff like that because that's how it sort of come up because her boyfriend dumped her and stuff like that. I said, and she's like, no, I've only had sex once, but I've been fingered twice and licked out twice.
That's way too much information. Oh my God, for a daughter to tell a father.
But at least I say, look, you got to be honest. At least you're just being honest, and they're going to do it. That's why I laugh when these people. I've said it before. When these men say my daughter's never going to have sex, she's never going to get married. They're going to, men. They're going to. Yeah. So
where's your daughter's pictures? Are they on your Instagram? We're looking for them.
Yeah, they're on mine. There's a couple there. Or if they're on hers, go to Ali Trappel. ALEIGH. TRAPPEL.
Let's see if we can pull these up here for the. What was the last part after Ali?
Trappel. TRAPPEL. Trappel.
All right. Let's see. Let's analyze the Lee Priest genetics on his daughter.
You find it?
No.
What happened?
Looking.
Oh, he's not coming up. What nationality was your wife, or the mother of hers?
She was Australian, but she's a bit darker skin and darker hair. But so she used to work in the nail salon.
How old is your daughter now?
27.
Oh, okay. So she's not young. She's young, but she's not like a baby or anything like that. She's lived some life. No. What does she do for a living?
Works for the city council down in Sydney.
Wow.
In the office there. She gets a lot of, where the people ring in complaints about the council.
We should get her on Iron Rage. She could probably tell us a few complaints.
Oh, yes. Yes, we should get her on one morning.
Yeah.
Has Tyler found it yet?
I don't know what he's having so much trouble for. What's the name? Give him the name again. Tyler is having some.
ALEIGH.
Yeah.
Ali Trappel. TRAPPEL.
Yeah. Okay.
You found it now on Instagram?
It's all right. All right, here we go. Oh, now he's plugging cords in now. Yeah, I know. This is like we're losing. Here we go. We got the edge.
Oh.
I see it. Oh, she's definitely got some Lee Priest genetics. How tall is she?
About 5'4", 5'3".
Oh, so she's the same height as you.
No, I'm only 4 foot. I'm a midget. Yeah, some pictures of her there. We see her delts and arms and
Yeah,
stuff.
she's ripped. She's got some. I think she has better conditioning than you had. What do you think?
Now, Dave, that's been very negative.
You don't. You said you don't take offense to anything. No, I'm just kidding.
She's got better conditioning than the Mr. O lineup. Oh, what did he say?
Where does she train? What gym?
Down in Gold's Gym in North Sydney. She trains a bit there and trains at another good gym called Animal Kingdom down in Sydney.
Oh, okay. Who owns that animal? Wasn't Dennis James involved in that gym for a while?
I don't think so.
No?
Don't think so. Not that I recall or know of, but no.
I thought Dennis James was involved in some gym in Australia. I don't
I know he was. I know he wasn't involved with some in Thailand for a while before he left Thailand.
Yeah, but he was in Australia for a while too. They had some gym with his
Yeah.
name involved. Something. I thought.
Yeah, so she's got a show in 2 weeks' time. So
All right. Well, let's get her on the show one of these weeks. I want to hear. I want to interview her. Maybe without you even here, so I can ask her some good questions.
Oh yes. You
So
probably still haven't even. You haven't watched my documentary yet, have you? I have to send you a link.
You only sent me the trailer link. I got to see the whole thing. You know, I don't watch anything because I don't even have time to do my emails every night. But I listened to I listened to the Jeff King interview with John Hansen podcast, which was great. But I definitely want to see your documentary.
Is that the same John Hansen that used to compete years and years ago?
Yeah, you know John Hansen.
He's been around a while. How old's he now?
He's got to be older than me. He's got to be in his 50s.
No.
Jeff King's almost 60 years old.
No one's older than the Crypt Keeper.
How old are you now?
47.
47?
Yeah. I'm getting tomorrow should look good because I'm getting more. It's almost gone really.
I was going to say it's almost erased. Are you going to start putting more tattoos on there now?
So obviously they weren't talking about me when they said the blonde guy with the tattoos on his face.
That's right.
I got to go get more laser today, so tomorrow it could be a little swollen.
Now, when are you going to actually start putting new stuff on there?
Well, the new stuff is only going to come like through the head here and down here. So if the tattoo's here, looking front on, you won't see it. It's almost like these ones here you don't really see until I turn.
Right.
And this is another thing too. People go, Leo's Lee had cheek implants. Look, this is what it is. It's been so long since I've lost 11 kilos in the last 4 and a bit weeks. See, this is what it is. So because my cheek structure starts coming out, they think I've had cheek implants because since the universe, I've been like this.
Why have you lost 11 kilos?
You can't see my cheeks, but now I'm getting thinner.
Are you dieting for something?
I just cut out a bit of chocolates every day and ice cream and started doing cardio. I'm slowly getting in shape. I'm doing a movie next September, so I've got to start getting ready.
I thought maybe you were going to compete, but this is for a movie?
Yeah. And then next year in
You sent me the
March,
movie, actually. You sent me that little short movie you were in. I like that.
That's a little short one, yeah, but the same people are doing a full-length one next year called Reggie Didge. It's going to be shot in the Outback, and it's going to be really good. But What I was saying was I could be getting in shape too. I'm not sure yet, but next year there could be the Lee Priest Classic on in March. And rumours are if Lee gets in shape a little bit, he might guest pose.
Wow, really?
But the thing is, if I guest pose, I'm guest posing as Cable from, the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Because those people that made the arm for me, they're actually making me a full latex type rubber arm to go over here and cover up the bad parts where it looks like it's going into my body.
So you have good symmetry. Yes, you have even symmetry. All right.
Yeah, so it actually moves when I flex it, but it's going to be covering up the bad side.
You're going to be like Nebula, the character in the Avengers. You're going to be all parts pretty soon.
Exactly, that'll be me. So yeah,
they
can actually make a whole suit. I was looking at the guy's site, and he actually made a perfect Thanos suit. The whole thing moves, it flexes, the head moves when you talk, everything. So I was thinking he could just make me a whole bodysuit of muscle.
You don't even have to train then. You just have to
exactly
move.
Imagine, what do you think if they make it just right with enough muscle on it? actually moves and flexes like Hellboy, like Hellboy's costume and shit like that.
Yeah.
If they made it like that, and you get on stage with a bit of lighting and smoke machines, I'd be like, my God, that's the Lee Priest of old.
Right. No one would even know. No one
Yeah.
would know. Like I said. All right, so the challenge is out there. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to try to get Fouad Abiad and Luke Sando to kind of match off against Lee Priest and I in iron debate. Talk about 90s versus today's bodybuilders, and let's get to the bottom of this topic. The challenge is out there. We put it out there last week. They had contacted us. They wanted to do it today. No one was able to show up. People were busy. Let's see if we can make it happen tomorrow.
Where are they? Where are they? Aren't they both professional
I said the same thing to Sid. I said, what are these guys doing? No one works. No one. They don't work.
The same thing. You're a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You go to the gym, you eat and sleep. What the fuck? You're not running a Fortune 500 fucking company here. What's happening? Is like when you weren't competing. Did you find, like, I found some days it's like when you weren't competing, you sometimes felt guilty because you're getting paid. You go to the gym in the morning, because I'd go early in the morning from 5 to 7 a.m. I get home at 8 a.m. and I'm like, fuck, what do I do for the rest of the day?
You got to watch TV
I might go to the movies. I might go here. I might go there. So if someone calls up and says, Lee, can you do an interview? You go, oh.
Yeah, you almost feel like, maybe I'm wasting my day.
Let me just check my schedule. No, let me just look. Oh, let's see. Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless. Oh, there's the Love Island, Perfect Match, Family Feud. Oh, no, I'm busy. Can't do it. Busy today. It's like, what do these bodybuilders do? It's like, I don't get
I used to wake up, listen to this. I used to go to bed like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes. I'd be on the internet, and I would literally sleep till 1 p.m. the next day. I would get up, take a shower, and I'd get to McDonald's by 2 o'clock. So I was eating my first meal at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. True. And then I'd be like, all right, what am I going to do? Should I go to the gym? All right, I'll go to the gym. Or no, maybe I'll tan first. I'll take a nap in the tanning bed. And then I'll go to the gym. And then
I was the opposite.
Yeah.
I was the opposite because I'd get up early at 4 and this. And so when it was daylight savings in California, I was going to bed at 7:30 p.m. and the fucking sun was still up.
Well, yeah, but you know what? In California, that's what people do because they try to stay on that New York schedule. That's what it is. Yeah.
And I'd get up early. I'd be down to the gym at 5 a.m. and Eddie Giuliani would be there and Zabo and Joe Gold would rock in about 7. Arnold would come in about maybe 6:37, depending on the mornings and stuff. Louis would come in about maybe 7:38 when he was training. And it was just that sun coming up over the beach out on the outdoor balcony down there with the sea mist and World Gym. They were the best times in the morning. But, I don't get these bodybuilders what they do all day, and they're just too busy. I'm like, there used to be times where I didn't guest pose, actually, because I just sometimes didn't even want to guest pose because, you get lazy. And the thought of me having to pack a bag to hop on a plane to go somewhere and guest pose was like, oh, really? Even if they give you $5,000, I'm like, you know what? The promoter will call me up and I'll be like, actually do this. I'll be like, hold on, let me just check my schedule. I'm busy that weekend.
You're so lazy. Wow.
And I'd sit at home and watch NASCAR rather than go pose for $5,000. I'd be like, you know what, fuck it.
Oh my God.
Well, the thing was, I never did it for the money, and because with my contracts, I had enough money coming in to cover my bills and the rent and shit. I didn't really care. I could have put a lot more away for a rainy day, but I'm like, you know what, I don't care. I'd rather to be stressed out of the travel. And
but you were into race car driving. That had to be expensive, right?
Well, I had sponsors there and stuff. So when I went racing and stuff, Lucas Oil and that, sponsored the team and stuff. So
oh, really? They were paying all the bills? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My friend used to always say, Lee, why don't you get your own car and buy your own car? I'm like, are you kidding? I said, this is the best. I fly into the track. I drive your car. If it blows up, I just sit here and watch the race and go home. I said, if I got my car, then you got to transport it to the track. You got to transport it across country. If the thing blows up, then you got downtime. You got to fix the bloody motor and get a new motor. I said, fuck that. That takes the fun out of everything, doesn't it? Yeah. Can you imagine bodybuilding where if you didn't have to train and do drugs and eat and shit, somebody else could do it for you? And as they're doing it, you just got bigger and bigger. You're like, oh, fuck, this is great.
You know what? How did you get that deal where you actually had a sponsor? I mean, did you have to win a bunch of races to do that?
Well, actually, when I did Frank Hawley's drag racing school and that, one of the guys there, one of the teachers there, he had a team. And when I went back to the school, I had a thing called a grad race where they brought back the best drivers, and I won that first race against all these other people. And they're like, "Oh, you're a bit of a natural for this and that." And he says, "I have a spare dragster. Do you want to come drive and stuff?" So it's okay. I'll come do a few like that. And my first year of doing that is when I got third in the championship and got Rookie of the Year. So I figured, hey, I'm okay at this. So the following year, I said, you know what, let me try to do as many races, because it's like, NASCAR and that, the more points you get, you got the most points at the end of the year, you win the championship. So that year I did every pretty much race I could do. That's when I was preparing for the 06 Ironman at the same time. So I'd have to take my meals to the track and everything like that. And at the end of the year, I won the championship racing. So, if you want to get shit done, you get shit done. People just are lazy.
And why did you stop? I never understood. Why did you stop car racing?
Because I moved back to Australia, and back down here it's not as big. In America, they've got so many tracks there. We used to race. You can race almost every weekend. Down here, tracks are few and far between. We have those dickheads down here. Someone wants to open up a new track somewhere, and the people go, "That's too noisy. It's too noisy." Not far from me, they got this old airport. There's a few homes around it, but it used to be an airport, and they want to try and have drag racing there and get kids off the street so they can go to this track where it's controlled. But people are going, "That's too much noise." It's like, you stupid cunt. There used to be planes fucking landing. Now you've got a car doing a burnout and you say that's too fucking noisy. Why do you think your house was only $100,000? Because you brought near a fucking airport. It's like, I don't get these people that complain about shit. Like now, there's where I live in Newcastle here, we've got the harbour. And there's a big working harbour. You get the big coal ships come in, and when they come in, boom, boom. So they built these new apartments, and now these people that have brought the apartments are complaining that the big ships set off their fucking horns. It's like, well, fucking, you're living on a fucking harbour. What the fuck do you expect? It's like, it's just the world these days. Everyone complains about everything.
You're right.
All I've got to say is, how dare you, Mr. President? How dare you ruin my life with this climate change and stuff like that, ruining the future for all generations and children? How dare you? But that's none of my business.
For a guy with no opinion, you had an awful lot of opinions today. All right, well, Luke, Fuad, it's out there, the invite. Hopefully we see you on Iron Debate tomorrow on the RxMuscle YouTube channel. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with Lee Priest for another installment of Iron Rage.
Dave, do you like my tail? Like my tail?